Why smart people make surprisingly bad decisions. Some of the smartest people in the world have made disastrous decisions. CEOs have destroyed companies, investors have lost fortunes, political leaders have taken nations into crisis. Highly educated professionals have made career choices that later regretted, and even one of us has looked back at a decision and wondered, what was I thinking? The interesting question is not whether intelligent people make mistakes. The interesting question is why. Because intelligence and decision making are not the same thing. In fact, some of the smartest people make surprisingly poor decisions. And today, I want to explore why. Because understanding this can improve not only your leadership decisions, but also your career decisions, business decisions, financial decisions, and life decisions. Let me begin with a simple story. A few months ago, I was at an airport. Passengers were waiting near the boarding gates. Suddenly, a small group of people got up and they started walking quickly towards another gate. Within seconds, more people followed. Then, more. Within a minute, dozens of passengers were moving in the same direction. Nobody seemed to know exactly why. People simply assumed that somebody else knew. A few minutes later, the airport staff announced that the passengers had moved towards the wrong gate. What fascinates me was not the mistake. What fascinated me was how quickly intelligent people stopped thinking, and they stopped thinking independently. Many of those passengers were experienced travelers, professionals, business leaders, people who make important decisions every single day. Yet, in that moment, uncertainty influenced behavior. One person moved, others followed. Human beings are deeply influenced by what they see around them. This tendency has shaped financial markets, business decisions, political movements, consumer behavior, and leadership choices. A decision can feel right simply because many people are making it. The feeling of certainty can be created by numbers, not by evidence. And by the way, following the crowd is not the biggest decision making trap. There is another trap that affects successful people, business leaders, investors, and decision makers much more often. We will come to that shortly. For now, let's stay with this idea. Information and judgment are not the same thing. A person may possess enormous knowledge. They may have years and years of experience. They may be highly intelligent. Yet, judgment depends on something more. Judgment is shaped by emotions, assumptions, beliefs, experiences, relationships, identity, and circumstances that are often invisible to us in the moment. This is one reason why intelligent people occasionally make poor decisions. The chances and the challenge is rarely a lack of knowledge. The challenge is often how reality is being interpreted. One of the most fascination examples of this comes from the Mahabharata. Let's think about Duryodhana. Duryodhana is often remembered for his ambition and his role in the conflict. Yet, there is another dimension worth exploring. He was not unintelligent, he understood power, he understood politics, he also understood consequences. Throughout his life, he received guidance from remarkable individuals: Bhishma, Vidura, Dronacharya, Krishna, and some of the wisest people of that era. The information was available, the advice was available, the warnings were available, yet the decisions remained unchanged. Why? Because information was not the deciding factor, and attachment was. Attachment to power, to status, his attachment to being right, attachment to influences perception. And when people become deeply attached to an outcome, reality begins to narrow. They start noticing information that supports their position, They start overlooking information that challenges it. Over time, decisions become less about understanding reality and more about defending an existing belief. This does not happen only in ancient stories. It happens every single day. A leader becomes attached to a strategy. An entrepreneur becomes attached to a business idea. A manager becomes attached to a particular employee. A professional becomes attached to a career path. The attachment itself is natural. The challenge begins when attachment starts shaping what we see. Many poor decisions begin long before the decision itself. They begin when our perspectives become narrow, then reality. Let's bring this into the modern world. In the technology industry, some of the world's most successful companies have missed major shifts, not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked talented people, not because they lacked resources. They had brilliant teams, strong leadership, extensive market knowledge, yet they remained deeply connected to what had already made them successful. History repeatedly shows us that markets often change faster than assumptions, and assumptions are often invisible to the people holding them. The same pattern appears in organizations, in careers, in relationships, and even in leadership. A few years ago, a senior executive told me something very interesting. He said, I trust my instincts. There was confidence in his voice. Years of experience had helped him make many successful decisions. Then he added, I don't usually ask many people for their opinions. That sentence stayed with me. Experience is valuable, instinct is valuable, judgment is valuable. Yet, every successful person faces a hidden risk. Success creates confidence, and confidence creates certainty. Certainty reduces curiosity, and curiosity is one of the most important ingredients in good decision making. Questions begin to disappear, alternative perspectives become less visible, and need to verify assumptions reduces. Reality may still be changing, the environment may still be changing, people may still be changing, yet certainty creates the feeling that everything is understood. Many leaders' blind spots emerge quietly, not because people stop learning, because they stop questioning. And that brings us to another important question. If intelligence alone does not guarantee good decisions, and if attachment can influence judgment, then what else gets in the way? The answer might surprise you. One of the most powerful influences on decision making is something we usually celebrate: experience itself. And in the next section, I want to show you how experience can strengthen judgment and sometimes quietly distort it at the same time. So, for far, we explored how attachment can influence judgment. We also explored how success can quietly reduce curiosity. And now, let's talk about something that almost every leader values, and it's experience. Experience helps us recognize patterns. Experience helps us avoid mistakes. Experience helps us act with confidence. Experience is one of the greatest teachers we have. Yet, experience also carries a hidden risk. A few years ago, I was traveling in an Uber. The driver missed a turn. I pointed it out. He smiled and said, Madam, I know a faster route. He sounded completely confident. After all, he drove those roads every single day. A few minutes later, we were sitting in traffic. What stayed with me was not the traffic, it was the mindset. The driver trusted his experience a lot. The situation required awareness. Experience answers the question, what usually happens? Awareness answers the question, what is happening right now? Good decision making requires both. This lesson applies far beyond an Uber ride. A leader has used a particular strategy for years. A business owner has built success through a specific approach. A manager has developed a style that has worked repeatedly. The temptation is so to trust the familiar. And often that works until the environment changes and the market changes, technology changes, customer expectations change, people change, reality keeps moving, experience remains valuable. Awareness helps experience remain relevant. And when awareness reduces, assumption begins to take over. This brings us to another most important lesson from Chanakya. Chanakya spent years preparing Chandragupta Maurya for his leadership. He and his teachings covered governance, economics, diplomacy, military strategy, and human behavior. Yet one principle experience appears repeatedly: the ruler must remain connected to reality, and reality, not praise, not assumptions, reality. Chanakya understood something about power. As authority increases, access to truth often decreases. People begin losing information, and bad news arrives. Discernment becomes visible, feedback becomes softer, and leaders slowly view gradual changes, not because reality changes, but because information changes. Things about a moment a leader makes decisions based on information available. If the information is incomplete, the decision becomes incomplete. If the information is filtered, the decision becomes filtered. If the information is delayed, the decision becomes delayed. This is why access so truth is one of the greatest advantages a leader can have. Every leader eventually faces the same challenge. Success increases authority, and authority reduces disagreement. Reduced disagreement limits information, and limited information affects judgment. The leader remains intelligent, the decisions become weaker. I see this pattern frequently in organizations. A senior leader believes everything is progressing well. The reports look positive, the meetings seem productive, people appear aligned. Then a key employee resigns, a customer leaves, a major project struggles, and suddenly people say, "We knew there was a concern." The information existed. The information simply never reached the person making the decision. This is one reason smart people make poor decisions. Decisions quietly depends heavily on information quality, and information quality depends heavily on conversation quality. Now, let's look at another trap: speed. Modern life rewards speed, quick responses, fast decisions, immediate action, rapid execution, and there is certainly value in speed. Many situations require timely action, yet, some decisions improve when they move a little slower. There is a difference between urgent decision and important decisions. Urgent decisions require action, important decisions require reflection. Many intelligent people become exceptionally good at solving problems quickly. Then one day they encounter a problem that requires patience. The mind wants closure, the mind wants certainty, the mind wants an answer, and an answer arrives. The decision feels complete. The situation may still be unfolding. The information may still be emerging. The reality may still be evolving. This is why some decisions deserve a pause, not a delay, a pause, a moment to ask, have I fully understood the situation? That one question has saved organizations millions. It has prevented hiring mistakes, investment mistakes, strategic mistakes, relationship mistakes, and leadership mistakes. So far, we have explored three powerful influences on decision making: attachment, experience, and speed. Each one shapes perception, each one influences judgment, each one affects what we notice and what we overlook. And yet, the next trap is the one I see most often in successful leaders. It usually arrives discussed as a strength. In fact, many people are proud of it. And that is exactly why it becomes difficult to notice. Let's explore that in the next section. Why smart people make surprisingly bad decisions. Till now, we have explored attachment, experience, and speed. Now, let's talk about a trap that many successful people encounter, and it is confidence. Confidence is valuable. Leaders need confidence. Entrepreneurs need confidence. Professionals need confidence. Teams often look for confidence during uncertainty. Confidence helps people move forward. Confidence helps people take action. Confidence helps people make better decisions. Yet, confidence is also, it changes how we listen. A person begins trusting their own judgments, and then they trust it a little more. Then they trust it so much that alternative perspectives receive less attention. And this rarely happens suddenly, it happens gradually. A successful decision creates confidence. Several successful decisions create certainty, and certainty creates comfort. Comfort reduces curiosity, and curiosity plays a powerful role in decision making. Questions becomes fewer, challenges become less welcome, alternative viewpoints become less visible. The person remains intelligent. The learning slows down. Some of the strongest leaders I have worked with share a common habit: they remain curious. They ask questions. They seek perspectives different from their own. They stay interested in what they may not yet know. That brings us to another trap: agreement. A few years ago, I met the owner of a successful restaurant. The restaurant had been doing well for many years. Customers loved the food. The reputation was strong. The business had become a local favorite. And then the customer visits slowly began reducing. A few employees suggested changes. Customers offered feedbacks. Some mentioned changing preferences. Some talked about new expectations. The owner listened politely, then continued operating exactly as before. He knew the business well. He had spent years building it. His experience was real. His success was real. The challenge was simple: the customers were evolving, the restaurant wasn't. A few years of success had created certainty, and certainty had reduced his observations. This happens in organizations too. A team keeps using the same approach, the leader keeps communicating the same way, a company keeps serving customers in the same way. The environment continues moving. The assumptions remain where they were. Decisions quality begins to suffer. And one of the most useful questions a leader can ask is, what might be I missing in the moment? It is a simple question, yet it creates space: space for information, space for learning, space for reality, and reality is where good decisions begin. So, let me share a practical framework that can help before making an important decision. Whenever you are facing a significant decision, pause and ask yourself five questions. Five questions. Question one: what facts do I actually know? Not options, not assumptions, not interpretations, just facts. Question two: what assumptions am I making? Many decisions are influenced by assumptions we have not even noticed. Question three: who sees this differently? Different perspectives often reveal information we cannot see ourselves. Question four: what information would make me change my mind? And keeps us connected to learnings. Question five: what might I not be seeing right now? This may be the most important question of all, because every decision is made with incomplete information. The goal is not perfect decisions, the goal is better decisions. And better decisions begin with better awareness. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want to leave you with one final thought. The quality of your life is shaped by the quality of your decisions. The quality of your decisions is shaped by what you notice, and what you notice is shaped by your awareness. Intelligence is valuable, experience is also valuable, and even knowledge is valuable. Awareness helps us use all these three wisely. Many poor decisions begin when people stop observing. Many strong decisions begin when people become curious again. The smartest people are not always the people with the quickest answers. They are often the people asking better questions. Perhaps the goal is not becoming smarter. The goal is seeing more clearly. And that may be one of the most important leadership skills of all. Thank you for watching this video. I am Dr. Vandana Shah, and my firm Arya works with CEOs, CXOs, and senior leaders planning to navigate complexity, strengthen leadership effectiveness, improve decision making, and create greater organizational impacts. We help leaders develop deeper awareness, stronger influence, and more effective leadership so that they can lead people, their teams, and businesses with greater clarity and confidence. Book a 30 minutes chemistry call with me. The link is shared in the description box below. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.